What's going on YouTube? It's Lieutenant Cade, also known as Alvin the Director. And on this channel what I do is I talk about military videos, I talk about fitness videos, and lifestyle videos. I'm an LT stationed up here at Fort Wainwright, Alaska. I've been a PL for a little bit over a year now. And you know, I love my job. I'm a signal officer as well, so I graduated BOLC in January 2020. So I'm fairly recent with graduating from the schoolhouse in Fort Gordon, Georgia. So I can kind of tell you about my experiences and what to expect at Signal BOLC. Now, I commissioned in August 2019, and I ended up starting Signal BOLC in, I think, September, like early September, late August time frame. The school was a little bit longer than most classes, just because we had, you know, our holiday block leave in December, and then, you know, we came back, did our final FTX, and then ended up finishing Signal BOLC. So I'm gonna take you back to the very beginning. I arrived at Fort Gordon in August, and you know, I was a holdover for about a week and a half, and I really got lucky. My class date wasn't supposed to start until October. There were some slots that opened up in the class that I joined, so I was able to start, you know, Signal BOLC a little bit earlier, but some folks are holdovers for like a month or so. I'm just waiting for that class date to start. While I was a holdover down there, we really didn't do much. We reported every single morning. We did PT in the mornings. It was, you know, only like 6 or 7 of us. I think some folks actually got selected to go be like an XO temporarily at like the AIT units, but I didn't do that. So, you know, basically it was pretty sweet, you know, being a holdover. It wasn't bad. I know some folks that were like at iBOLC were telling me that while they were a holdover, they had to like work the gate and do a bunch of like busy work, but we really didn't have to do a whole lot. You just kind of went in, and I think at like 9:30, you had your lunch, and then I think the latest I stayed there was like 2 o'clock, 1400. So that was pretty much the holdover time. We just kind of sat around the office, and like if they needed some kind of like admin work done, we would knock it out. But I mean, that was pretty much it. There wasn't really a lot to it. Then we started BOLC. The first thing we did was Common Core, which is like your EO, your Sharp, you know, just like the basic Army classes that you're going to take at every single school. We did that for like a week. And then right after that, we started kind of like our field portion of BOLC. So what we did is we did like land nav, we did the range, I think a couple other things that were like outside. It wasn't really a lot. It was maybe like a week and a half of doing things outside in the field. And then we started our actual classes. So at BOLC, at some point during Signal BOLC, you're going to have like a field week, and that's going to be the time where you actually go out doing all the field stuff. And it just depends on like your cadre, whenever they schedule your field week. It might be spread out. It might be broken up into, you know, a couple short days like early on in your school cycle, or it might be like later on or in the middle. However, you're going to knock out something in the field, you know, at some point during Signal BOLC. I think after that we started doing like learning like network. So basically like your basic like IT fundamentals, not a lot to it. During this time, they also told us about, you know, learning or preparing for your Sec Plus or Net Plus. You got to pick which one you wanted to study for. And I think some guys got to actually test for their Sec Plus or Net Plus. I didn't do that. I just wasn't interested in getting my Sec Plus or Net Plus while I was in BOLC. So that was just, you know, it wasn't my thing. I just felt like, you know, I just wanted to kind of learn my job and then let those certs kind of fall into place once I actually got to my unit. You may or may not have the option of doing that. Some classes have a lot more slots for getting those certs early on. Some don't. So if it's something that you want to do, just ask about it and see if that's something that they offer. You're going to do a section on like radio. So this is extremely important. If you learn one thing at Signal BOLC, it's I would say understanding that radio. That is going to take you a long way. You're never going to get rid of that radio in your entire Army career, no matter what MOS you are. So if you learn those radios early on and actually take the time to understand how they work and the basic functions of them, you're going to be set up for success once you actually get to your unit. At some point, when you're in the talk, they're going to ask you a radio question or ask you to help fill a radio or do something, and you want to have that basic knowledge. I mean, you're a signal officer, so at least you can learn, you know, how that radio functions. You're also going to learn about your Inc. 2. So this is like where the signal world is kind of moving towards, and I don't want to go into like the details of what all Inc 2 entails, but this is your time to understand the basics of signal flow and how your pieces of equipment work and talk to each other. So understand that to the best of your ability. However, once you get to your unit, of course things are going to be done a little bit differently. You're going to understand how your specific unit's mission works. But you do want that general understanding of Inc 2, on-the-move capabilities and all that stuff that you're going to be learning at Signal BOLC. Take the time to take that stuff serious, because when you actually get to your unit, it can help you out, if you have that, again, basic level understanding. The entire time during Signal BOLC, you're pretty much going to want to get like that basic understanding of everything they kind of teach you. You're not going to know everything when you get to your unit. A lot of times they're going to sit there and tell you, you're going to learn this when you get to your unit. It might get frustrating at times, but that's actually the case, because again, every unit works differently. So they can't tell you how things are going to be when you get to your duty station if they haven't been there or don't know exactly how your unit actually operates. The next thing I would say kind of focus on is op orders. Now, I know in OCS we did a lot of op order briefs, so it kind of helped me out whenever I got to SBOLC with doing the op orders and mission planning and all that fun stuff. It really gave you kind of the leg up if you actually have an understanding of what op orders are like. That is going to be, I think we spent like 2 weeks doing like different op orders and different briefings and things like that. We briefed the major, at BOLC a couple times. He came in, he sat in, he critiqued us. We also did, just like random tasks at SBOLC. Like we had different presentations that we had to present different topics on, which I thought that was pretty cool because it gets you more comfortable with talking and executing briefs. When you're an LT, there's going to be times where you're going to sit in meetings with S3 OIC or the XO or even the battalion commander. So you want to be able to have those conversations and deliver those briefs whenever someone asks you to present a certain topic. So take that serious. I know I keep saying it a lot, but even though SBOLC really isn't hard, take it serious enough to get that basic level understanding. So whenever you get to your duty station, you're prepared and you're at that level playing field that you should be at. The final thing that we did at SBOLC was we had a final mission, and that was in the field. We were in the field for maybe a week. So Signal, you're non-combat, you're not going to spend too much time in the field at SBOLC. But we do have that final FTX where we had to set up different OEs, we had to talk, we had Op 4 come out, which was, I think that's fun. I love being out in the field doing cool stuff. We had a final ruck march, which was, I don't know if it was 8 or 9 miles. We had a pretty heavy load that we had to carry. They gave you some extra weapons. I think we carried an AT4, some extra ammo. You had your crew served weapons, and I think it was an unknown route. So I wasn't the PL during that final mission where you do that final ruck march. However, the PO had to brief the route that he wanted to take or she wanted to take, and then we just kind of executed it. So we got up at 0200, 0300, and we loaded up the trucks, loaded up our equipment. And you just kind of went to an unknown location somewhere on Fort Gordon in the middle of nowhere, and you execute your ruck, which was pretty cool because once you're done with that, that's the final culminating event of SBOLC. Again, you don't spend too much time out in the field, but during this mission, that's when you actually be employing your equipment and getting that basic understanding of what it's like, kind of working as a signaleer out in the field. So that's pretty cool. And again, the things that you learn at BOLC might be completely different than how your unit actually operates, but it's a tool to kind of get you that foundation of what to expect as a signaleer, as a signal officer in the Army. I did a video about this time last year, which I'm going to post in the description, which is what I actually do as a signal officer. I also did some videos on a day in the life of a platoon leader. Again, I've been a platoon leader for a little bit over a year, so I had that experience of what it's like being a SIGO up here in Alaska and running my platoon and everything like that, and it's a lot of fun. To me, being a signal officer is the best job that any officer could ever have because signal is just, the shit. I hope this video gives you an understanding of what SBOLC is like. Be sure to ask questions in the comments below so I can give you a better understanding of the experiences that I went through at SBOLC. Again, I graduated not too long ago, so I can kind of tell you things from a more modern perspective. And that's pretty much it. I'm Alvin the Director, and I'm out.